that I made to make the change in my life was to throw my hands up and ask God to take over. That's really the only conscious decision.
Ooh, what happened? I have no.
That's inform them we're trading somebody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are we live?
You're live.
Oh, hey, good morning. You're on a cup of sunrise. I am Pastor Joe, and I've got the one and the only, the amazing.
Stana, good morning.
It changes every morning, so I don't introduce. I go, it is, and
Well, I
that's
keep
who
waiting.
it is.
I keep waiting for you to say it.
Yeah, I'm never going to say it. All right. Hey, good morning, guys. We've got a new guy. We've got the one and only Jared behind the board. He's learning the board right now. And now, if you don't know who Jared is, he is the adorable guy. He does the late night Sunday night service here at X Media Group. So 10 o'clock at night, right, Jared? Yeah, is that at 10 o'clock at night on Sunday nights? He does the late night service. So he's learning the board. And the nice thing is he's not going to be able to pull his hair out. So, but I think, I'm not sure, but I think I seen him rubbing the top of it here for just a moment ago. Yeah. Hey guys, we want to welcome you. We've got an incredible guest, and we're going to be talking to the one and only singer-songwriter, Kevin Cobb, here just out of Arkansas. We're going to be talking to him in a moment. But first, we want to talk about today's national holiday. And I'm really excited about today's national holiday because we're going to go to a restaurant later on today, and there'll be pictures on our Facebook page of us celebrating Deep Fried Clams Day.
It's always about food with you.
Well, somebody sent me a message. Now, you can't forget today is National Stress Out Day or whatever it is. I'm stressed out every day. I don't need to celebrate one day for that.
Why would we say is that real?
Breathe back up, and that. Just gonna do stress relief day.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's that kind of day. So I'm not going to stress out because I do that. So I guess this is the day out of 365 days. This is the one day I don't have to. So, hey, stress. There you go. I'm not doing it. All right.
Just did a raspberry.
Okay, so deep fried clams. Do you like them with cocktail sauce or tartar sauce or ketchup?
No ketchup.
Yeah, I'm not doing ketchup.
No, I'm not super crazy about cocktail sauce. I only really like cocktail sauce with boiled shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the only time I use cocktail sauce.
Really?
With boiled shrimp.
Okay.
No, not any other kind of shrimp. I kind of like clams just with no sauce.
No sauce. You eat them really?
I like tartar sauce, but that's really kind of a fish thing for me.
So I like them with cocktail sauce. I like them with cocktail. Blah. All right, guys, listen. We're going to play a song here. We've got a singer-songwriter up here, award-winning. I don't want to forget that. But singer-songwriter, Brother Kevin Cobb is here. We met him over at the BGSSA in Branson, Missouri, Branson Gospel Singer-Songwriter Association. And he has a song that I haven't even talked to him about it yet. But I want to steal it from him.
Now, let me say this real quick.
Radio.
I love to hear him sing.
Yes.
But I could listen to him speak the phone book. Well, I just love his country accent. I love it.
Well, I'm going to say this just because they did this. I don't know if I have the right to do that because we're not that close yet, Kevin. But he has when he accents some words because he's got an Arkansas accent, but he's got some Forrest Gump in there, and that's one of my favorite movies. And so, I want to hear him say shrimp and boat captain. But until then, guys, I'm going to play this song that Kevin wrote. It's called Step Back, Stand Clear. We're going to be talking about this. And he wrote it when he was in Buckville, Arkansas, if I remember right. So check this song out. This is an original written by Kevin Cobb.
Church has a tradition known as Decoration Day. It's the day that we have a special church service in the month of May.
Did you ever go to Decoration Day at your church?
We go to the church cemetery, and after we weed eat, mow, and rake, we put new flowers on every headstone in that sacred day.
Sing it, Kevin. Sing it, buddy.
Yeah.
preacher putting flowers on his daddy's headstone last Decoration Day. He said we need a word of warning that we can place by every grave. It says, please remember, since the coming of the Lord is near, if you hear a trumpet sound, step back and stand clear.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
If you hear a trumpet sound, step back and stand clear.
Ooh, we got some brass in there.
Christ are coming up out of here. So when the trumpet sound on that glorious day, the last place you're gonna be standing on a grave. For the graves will all burst open when the saints all leave for home, and the mausoleums will crumble like the walls of Jericho.
Come on.
So please remember, since the coming of the Lord is near, if you hear a trumpet sound, step back and stand clear. And we need a big sign by the cemetery gate to warn those who are not saved. They will not rise up in here with the believers that remain. So they better be ready to run and to find a safe place to hide as tombstones tumble, mausoleums crumble, and the dirt begins to fly. If you hear a trumpet sound, step back and stand clear. For the dead in Christ are coming up out of here. So when the trumpet sounds on that glorious day,
That's a song you need to turn up and listen
I
to.
like it.
on a grave, for the graves will all burst open when the saints all leave for home, and the mausoleums will crumble like the walls of Jericho. So please remember, since the coming of the Lord is near, if you hear a trumpet sound, step back and stand clear.
Come on now. Come on.
If you hear a trumpet sound, step back and stand clear. If you hear a trumpet sound, step back and stand clear.
And that's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, welcome to the program, to the Morning Cup of Sunrise. Minister, worship leader, two-time award winner of the Golden Pin Award.
Cool.
Very talented, and who wrote with the one and only legend of music, Ronnie Henson. Kevin, thank you for coming on to the program. How you doing this morning, buddy?
Doing great. How are y'all doing?
Hey, I am doing well, just like a tick in a big buried in furry dog. I'm doing good. Guys, we got to meet Kevin Cobb over at BGSSA here just a couple of weeks ago, and they were playing one of his songs, and it was on. Kevin, I was actually wanting to talk to you about this song. It was on the video screen. They were playing it when everybody was eating, and it was one that you did talking about being baptized
In the muddy water?
in muddy water or something like that.
Yeah, called a hole with some water in it. Yep,
Yes.
hole.
a
Okay.
hole with some water in it. Yep.
Okay, I love a hole with some water. I got to write that down because I need you to send that to me so I can get that on our radio station because I
Okay.
love that song.
Yeah,
I
it was
heard
good.
that, guys. So you guys are going to be able to hear that on Radio Free America coming up because that's just a great song.
Yes.
And you're probably going to hear Step Back, Stand Clear because now I got the MP3, so I'm stealing it, Kevin.
Yes.
But here's one thing I promise I won't be singing it in public, just in my car, man, just in my car. All right. But Now you've been around the music business for some years as a writer. So this particular song, Step Back, Stand Clear, has been like what, 20 some years ago when you originally started writing this song.
Yes, at least that around 2000, someplace in
Mhm.
there. And got the idea when I was about 20 some odd years. So that'd be 40 something years ago when I went to the Decoration Day services that gave me the idea. So been a wow.
Yeah. Now, my first Decoration Day, I was actually in my 20s. 2021 was my first one. And I was running sound for an evangelistic group that played music, and I was dating the guitar player. It was a female, guys, but I was with the band. But that's what they did. That was one of their things. That was my first time. I was in my early 20s, and it was really neat because I liked the food. You know, you got the picnic on the ground kind of thing. So yeah, I was kind of digging it. But so when you started writing this, how long did it take you to write this particular song?
Well, just the first edition, from the time about a 30-minute drive from North Little Rock to Benton, was all it took for the first edition of it. And I began to sing that around here at some churches. They liked using it for funeral services, some of the pastors around here, because that line, step back and stand clear, And
right.
So, and then, of course, as a songwriter, you try to rewrite it and pray the Lord to help you to rewrite it. Try to make it, like Ronnie Henson said, try to make every line stand on its own, make it as good as you can possibly do it. And but before I had a chance to release it to radio after I met Sherry, like I said, I took it to Roger King. He's a great songwriter down here, bluegrass and country, and I took it to him, and we did some editing on it and work on it too before I, finally got it to the place where I said, well, I think that'll be good enough to go ahead and record it. But yeah, been like 20-some years ago though, since I first had the idea. So it's been a bluegrass version, a rock and roll version.
Yeah.
See,
I've had all of them.
I got to hear the rock and roll version now,
Yes.
man. But here's one of the things that I love about songwriting. I am not a songwriter. In fact, I tried my hand at it, and I'm terrible. But here's one of the things that I love. Having that one-on-one with Ronnie Henson would have been amazing to have that experience time with him to write. But what I love is like the song. I can only imagine the guy, the lead singer of Mercy Me. It took him 10 minutes to write that song. And then you have other songs where, like on this one, Kevin, that took 20 some years to write.
Mm-hmm.
And it just always amazes me. Or like Gary S. Paxton, who did he didn't write Monster Mash, but he produced it. But he wrote Sensuous Woman, the PTL theme song, et cetera, et cetera. You go into his house, and there's 22 file cabinets full of songs he's written over the years. So now, how did you get into writing? Because if I remember when we were talking, you wanted to write, but then you went into singing. How did writing get involved in writing gospel music? How did you get initiated? I mean, one day you said, hey, I've got these lyrics I want to try to put out as a novice writer. Because how old were you when you wrote your first song?
Well, what actually happened, I got in a rock and roll band when I was like 14 or 15 years old. Played the drums.
Don't we all?
Yeah, and I'd written some songs for the rock and roll band. What the funny thing was, they were kind of religious too, because I was raised in a religious family. But when I finally gave my heart to the Lord, the pastor asked me after that. He knew I wrote some songs and that. He asked me one day, he said, why don't you try to write a call to worship song for me? So Pastor Dennis Tyner, pastor that won me to the Lord. And I did that, and then he just encouraged me. It encouraged me all the time. I've got a service coming up. I need a song that says this, and I'd try to write one. So most encouraging guy I ever knew in my life, because I could call him at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night and say, Dennis, I just wrote a new song. He'd say, come down to the church and sing it for me. And
that's awesome.
Very cool.
And how old were you during all this time? How old were you?
I was about 16 years old then. About 16 years old.
That's awesome.
So,
that's awesome. So when was your first song? So you're at 16, because what are you, about 21 right about now? So
yeah, about 6 or 7 now.
So
I'd hit the 67 mark.
So writing for 50 years now, what was your first song? What year, if you remember, that an artist recorded your first song? How long did you write before somebody recorded your first song that you wrote?
Oh Lord, probably 30 years. And then the
30
first one would
years.
be
Okay.
Roger King. Yeah, yeah. Roger King recorded one I wrote called "The Rapture Express," and he
The
recorded the
Rapture
bluegrass version of
Express.
that. Yes,
Okay, very.
yes.
The title already
Yeah,
intrigues
me
me. I'm
too.
not even
Me
going to
too.
lie. Okay, so here's my question. So it was you said 30, 40 years before you had one. What kept you writing, even though nobody was recording? What kept you writing? What was that thing that says, I can't stop, I got to keep on doing it? Because I'm sure there would have to be frustration coming in here. So
Oh yeah,
what kept you going? So I just need to quit. My songs aren't good. I mean, I can hear this conversation in your head. So what
yes.
kept you going?
Well, I think songwriting, gospel songs is like a call the Lord puts on your life. And of course, as a pastor, you know how the Holy Spirit just to prompt you that you need to do this, and Sister Stott is singing, and all that we do is in ministry. Sometimes you don't see great results, right in front of you, and it's just the Holy Spirit keeps
Truth.
prompting you. And I just felt that the need I just had to write, and I call it God's record player, because some of this stuff is like it was written by somebody else, and I'm just sitting down there one day. The pastor says something in the sermon, and like God's record player comes on, and I start hearing the lyrics and music just flowing into my mind. And if I got a pen handy and can write it down real quick, usually I have a song, and which don't mean you don't have to
Wow.
kind of rewrite it later on to try to make it a little bit
Right.
better. But yeah, that's
Right.
kind of the way it works. So, and you're right about being frustrated. There was a time, oh Lord, been a while back though, that I got so frustrated. I actually one day said, Lord, I think you want me to do something else. So I'm done with this songwriting stuff. So I just took everything I had and chunked it I chunked it in the trash. I threw it in the
Yeah.
trash
No.
out on the road, and my two girls, Becky and Tori, they went out there, and after I put it out there, they went out there and they dug it back out of the trash. They put it back up and hid it in the house. And so I was
Till you got
cleaning
over
up
the
a room
fit.
one day. Yeah. I was cleaning up a room one day, and I looked up in there, and there all them songs are sitting up there, just piles and piles of books and stuff. And I said, how did this get back in? And they said, well, Daddy, you've been writing songs all your life. We knew that you wouldn't want to really throw them away. So,
That's
anyway.
You just had to
That's
get over that fit. So what would you tell a songwriter? They're going through the same thing that you went through, because now you've got songs being recorded. You've sat with the Hensons and had an amazing time on that one-to-one. You've recorded some of your own songs, but most of your songs is recorded by other people. Is that correct?
Well, so far, Amanda's the only one that has recorded up there in Branson, and Roger King down here. Now he's recorded the Rapture Express, the Rope, and a couple more that that he's recorded. So that he releases gospel albums and country albums. So he's done that down here. But to really break in, to have I hadn't had nothing by the Golden City Quartet or anything, but so
Me neither, brother. Me neither.
yeah, I told that pastor that day, I said, I'm not getting anywhere. And he said, well, that's what he told me. Said, Brother Cobb, have you ever thought that maybe the Lord wants you to sing the songs you write? And I said, no, sir, I have not ever thought about that. He said, maybe it's time to start thinking that way. So, yeah, so I have, and up to now, most of us, I write. And of course, I've got ministry at two churches. I help Cornerstone Worship Center with the music ministry and preaching ministry over there, and Morgan Full Gospel at night. I teaching a young lady how to play the piano and helping them with their music ministry over there. So, doing that. That's where I sing my songs at most of the time, except for, thank God for the BGSSA, I get to do it up there. So,
well, I know the first song that I heard was that a hole with some water, and absolutely loved your voice. Loved that how that one went. So now when you get, because I know with writers, there's certain different things that will, whether it's a pastor's sermon or you've seen something and a lyric will pop into your head or a line or something like that. when you're writing a song, how many songs out of all these years has it just went smooth and just went boom, it's done, versus something that's taken 20 years? Do you have more of the songs that you write that the Holy Spirit says, here, this is what it is? Or do you have more of the, okay, this is going to be a time process song?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying it's about half and half. Some just come. And matter of fact, I was sitting in the service and this guy's preached a sermon, and he was talking about Lazarus coming forth from the grave. He said before Lazarus could come out, somebody had rolled the stone away. And so he was talking about, and I said, the Spirit come up on me. So I wrote a song right there sitting in the back about, for us to raise the dead, for people to be saved, somebody's got to roll the stone away. Somebody's got to preach the message. Somebody is, got to help in the process. And the Spirit of the Lord helped me. And I got up there at the end of the service and I sung that song for the invitation. So sometimes it comes like that. Wow. And then there's times that you'll get a good idea and you'll write it down, and then you'll go and, I got a drawer full of them that, never have finished. It's like the inspiration's gone. You just can't, do anything with it. So it's kind of half and half. I like the ones that come easy.
Yeah.
Well, of course. Absolutely. Have you had those experiences where you've taken one song and you wrote it out and it never got anywhere, and then you've written maybe a year, 2 years, or whatever the time span is, and wrote part of another song, and then you were able to combine those songs?
I have.
Yeah.
One of that song that I sent last night, didn't know if you wanted to use it. I will worship you for who you are. It was called something else to begin with. And one day I was driving the car, and I said I didn't like the way that it was, and this a little chorus come along there, and I joined the two of them together, and I said that works pretty good, So
that's
awesome.
Sometimes
Sometimes you pick something up, and that you wrote 15 years ago, and sometimes it's just like I like what Sherry says. God connects the dots. He's got a time for everything, and sometimes that song has got its time that it needs to come out and be heard. So.
Well, I'm really believing that songwriting is kind of like preaching. And somebody asked, well, how long takes you to study for a sermon? Well, sometimes I study for a sermon in 10 minutes, sometimes 6 hours, sometimes 30 years. So this is what songwriting, I'm thinking it's about the same way.
About the same way, yes.
So now you're involved with BGSSA. Let's talk about, for those people who don't know what the BGSSA is. It's out of Branson. I've known Sherry for a lot of years. She's been doing that ministry for a lot of years. Branson Gospel Singer Songwriter Association. I worked with Sherry some years ago, and Stada's just now. We're just now getting involved with it. But now, how did you get involved with BGSSA? And how does that help you in your ministry?
Okay, well, I actually, Sherry was coming down here to Arkansas one time years ago, and I didn't get to go and meet her. I was sick that day, and but I joined Mickey Mixon had an organization called GospelSongwriter.com, and you could join his, and he'd try to connect you with groups that were recording, and he'd gotten sick, and so I wasn't able to do that anymore. And so I just got online. I'd heard about her and got online. I researched it a little bit, and then just one day, me and my wife talked it over. I said, I've heard about the BGSSA, and I called Sherry, and Sherry told me, yeah, come on up to Branson sometime, see what we're all about, And so I'll never forget it. The day that we first went up there were tornado warnings out all over Arkansas, and some for, southern Missouri. And we got up that morning. I wondered, whether should I go or stay home? And we talked it over, said, well, I believe the Lord wants me to do this, so we're going up there. I'm going to trust him to take care of me. And went up there and met Sherry and Dale Brown, and, heard them sing and heard them talk about the ministry and what they were able to do, especially Brother Dale Brown. He had written like me for years and years and years. And finally through Sherry was able to begin to get some of his stuff out. And like Sherry said, I could go around as a singer to these little bitty churches and sing for 15, 20, 50 people or whatever, or I could join her organization. And since she's got these connections, I can have a song put out on the radio that can be heard by thousands of people and millions of people, you know. So I joined up with her, and it's been a blessing. I know y'all are up there. You can tell everybody loves one another, you know, and
Yes.
encourages one another, and the writing and their singing ministry, and Sherry does that, and all the people up there, you know, that are working to try to make it success. It's been a real blessing. But you know, I met her in 2017. I think it's the first time we went up there. And 2019, I released the song "Ugly Praise." You know,
Yeah.
through her the
Yeah.
radio. So yeah. So yeah, it's been a great thing. I'd encourage anybody, if you're a writer or singer or something, there, call Sherry and get involved in that thing. I mean, it's really a blessing. It really is.
Well, here's one of the things that I love with the number one. I love Sherry to death because I know she's listening, so I better say that. But no, but I love Sherry. She's a great woman of God. But here's the thing that I love with BGSSA is that it makes connections. I mean, this one thing is, you know, you can sing to the small church, and there's nothing wrong with singing to the small churches or even preaching to the small churches. But, you know, I'm a firm believer if God gives you a talent, you need to figure a way, and God will guide your path, just like he did with you with BGSSA, to get whatever your talent that he's given you for it to be promoted. It's not about the things that we get on our shelves or whatever, but it's about being able to get the songs out or the ministry out, whatever it may be, into other avenues. And with today's media, there are thousands of different ways now for an independent artist, a songwriter, to get their music out. And
Yes, there is.
BGSSA helps in that area, but they promote the gospel and the heart of people. And I know the people are very loving. When we went there for our first meeting and just found some great music and some amazing people, because when we get into an area, we're kind of standoffish first.
Yes.
But then we get to that point where they're just wishing we'd shut up. So with doing the BGSSA, do you have a project coming out pretty soon? Do you have some more songs coming out that you're writing? What's your plans with that? Because I know do you evangelize as well?
Well, I do some preaching, you know, mainly at these two different churches. I call myself the pastor's helper. So it seems like that's the ministry the Lord's given me. If they're out of town and need me to preach for them, I'll preach for them. Just pretty much the gap filler. Yeah, the gap filler. Whatever you need me to do, I'll fill that gap, you know. Show me the hole in the line and I'll run.
Yeah.
Good. I'm about to add a third church to your list there, buddy, but it's in Missouri. So with this, have you got a new album coming up, new project coming in? What's going on with that?
Well, like I said, next year, my goal right now to radio, of course, it costs a little bit of money, you know, to get this done. It ain't nothing free. But my goal right now, I want to try to release at least one, maybe two songs a year while, you know, I'm able to. Of course, 67 years old, I hope to live to be 90 if the good Lord don't come back, but we don't ever know. But I've got a song that I wrote after D.K. Brewster passed away called, because he wrote the song "The Best Is Yet to Come." And after that happened, I was going down the road, and like I told Cherry, it's almost like DK was in the car with me, and I wrote one that said, it just does not get any better than this, you know, because he's in heaven now. It just, I mean, it's so hopefully I've sent the demo to Sherry, and hopefully when Stefan's kind of cleared his calendar up, we're going to go ahead and get that recorded and done, have Jamie Brewster sing that. So hopefully that's going to be done sometime at the end of this year, coming out the first of next year, you know. So I do have that coming up. And other than that, I just sit around here. Anytime the Lord gives me an idea, I write. And it might be a song I sing at a church or, you know, or whatever. So
now if an artist wanted to get a hold of you, they heard one of your songs or they're interested in a pitch or something like that, how would somebody get a hold of you, contact you to be able to do one of your songs or maybe pitch a song?
Yeah. The best way would be Give God Glory Music 365, which is my email address. So, yeah, one big word, Give God Glory Music 365 at Gmail. That'd be the easiest way, the best way. So to get a hold of me. And unfortunately, sometimes I'd put my number out, but I tell people all the time I know a mode because I said I get 2 calls and they're coming in every day. One's for insurance, Medicare.
Yes.
The other one, I'm getting called from people that want to sell me life insurance or a funeral policy. So
Wait a minute. I'm getting those same calls. This ain't right. Wait a minute. I don't like the way this is
So
going.
I don't give my number out, a whole lot. A lot of times I don't answer the phone on account of that. I'll be calling it. This is so and so funeral home, or I called a guy one time about a funeral policy, and I hadn't bought it yet. And he calls me all the time, so find out if I'm ready to go ahead and buy the funeral policy. I said I'm not planning on dying tomorrow. I will get back in contact with you.
Yeah.
Don't call me. I'll call you.
I'll call you. One of those deals. So now we've got BGSSA has an event coming up on November 11th, and at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Are you going to be at that event? That's located in Branson.
I think it's at the Best
Yes.
Western this time.
Best Western, yes. I will not be at that event right now. I'm getting the roof replaced on my house. Tried to get a roofer forever. Tornadoes came through here in Arkansas back about February, and I've been trying for 6 months to get somebody to replace the roof. And finally, I got a roofer to call me back. So I
you
got
better not
somebody
miss that
coming.
appointment.
Yeah, so I got somebody
he
going to
knows.
get the roof replaced.
Yeah, he knows if he gets 3 calls that day, one of them's the roofer.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
So
what advice?
I'll be back up in December.
In December, okay. What advice would you give to a young person that's wanting to write? Because as we talked earlier about being discouraged and things like that, what advice would you give to somebody who's wanting to write? They're not sure if they have a talent to write. What would you tell that person to find out, even if they have that talent?
Well, what Ronnie Henson shared with me was probably some of the best news I ever heard. And first off, write. I mean, if you feel like the Spirit of the Lord is calling you to do that, write. And Ronnie told me just keep writing. This song might not be that good, but keep writing, because he said every song that you write, it's going to get a little better. And, educate yourself a little bit. There's Lord, you can go online, and there's songwriting courses that you can look into, to kind of help you writing. There's a book, I can't remember the name of it, you can get that. It's got rhyming schemes and that are, the rhyme words. So there's a lot of help you can get. And then remember, if the Lord's called you, what he told me, he said, if the Lord called you to write, because you're not a songwriter because you got the #1 song in the nation. He said, you're not a songwriter because you got a major publishing deal. He said, you're a songwriter because God called you to do that, and do it for the glory of God, and just keep doing it for the glory of God. And what you do will get better and better and better. Because for a gospel songwriter, you got the influence of the Spirit of the Lord, upon your life too. That's going to help you in your ministry. So, and don't get discouraged. And like you said, there's so many things that you can do nowadays. You can get them online through Facebook. They've got a site called Reverb Nation. You can put them on there. There's a lot of places you can put your songs up and actually have people listen to them. Where 30 years ago, there was nothing. So
absolutely.
I just tell them write, and don't worry. And don't worry about your song getting stolen. I've had some people that I know that write songs, and I said, what are you going to do with that? Well, I'm afraid to put it out there. Somebody might steal it. I said, wouldn't it be better if somebody would steal your song and it was used for the glory of God than you're putting it in a drawer? It's not going to do nobody any good at all, or you.
Absolutely.
Right. I like that.
Just put it out there and trust the good Lord to take that song where he wants it to be taken. And if you don't get any money here, the thing that matters, you're going to get a blessing when we get up to heaven. So nothing we do for the Lord down here is going to be forgotten by him. So just keep writing. Exactly. And it is kind of discouraging, sometimes, because a lot of songwriting's by yourself. You sit there writing, but keep on doing it and use every avenue the Lord opens up for you. Like Sherry Brewster says all the time, God, he's the dot connector. He'll connect the dots where you need to be, or who you need to be with. So that's what I tell.
We're going to we're going to have Sherry Brewster on the program here, I think, in the next month or so. We've got her scheduled to come in. But we've got some other artists coming in as well. We'll be talking about that as we go throughout. But now with one more question for you, Kevin, as you're going into ministry, you've been doing this for a lot of years. What do you believe in your heart is probably one of the through your gift of songwriting is probably one of your biggest blessings doing writing music?
For me, it's when you sing something and you see the Spirit touch somebody, and they come up to you after that and they say, bless my heart, I was going through, and I've had people with the Ugly Praise song, which is basically about a woman having a cancer diagnosis or a bad diagnosis, and she praises the Lord anyway. So and there's the bridge there talks about you don't have to have a choir robe on, your hair fixed, the perfect voice, our poetic words to praise God even when things get ugly. We just pray. And I've had them up there and tell me that I went through a bad time, and that helped me, just to keep my mind on God, keep praising Him and trusting Him through the situation. So that's the biggest blessing. To sing a song and see somebody get something out of it, that is a better blessing than all the money in the world. So,
amen. I like that. Now, Kevin, what's give us that email again where people can contact you. They've got a song or maybe a question, or maybe they want to do one of your songs.
Okay, I said word, no spaces. Give Glory Music 365 at gmail.com.
Give God Glory Music 365 at gmail.com.
All right. Guys, get a hold of Brother Kevin. I'm going to tell you what you want. Now, do you go to other churches and sing as well?
Haven't done it. We used to have a group with my mother, my sister, and pastor's wife, and my mother's passed away last year with cancer. So hadn't been doing any of that right now. So, mostly just ministering to these two churches. Roger King and I, we have a ministry. We go to 3 nursing homes and again of each month and go in there. And he sings some old country music and some gospel music, We'll do them hymns, and you'll see them people in there. They sing so loud you can't hear yourself sing. I enjoy it.
Yes, that's right.
Going to that nursing home, going to the Grand Ole Opry, going in there and seeing them people enjoy it.
There you go.
I love it.
Brother Kevin, we appreciate you coming on the program, guys. Next Monday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time right here, you'll be able the roundtable with Pastor Ladina, myself, and Sister Stada. And then the following Wednesday, we have another BGSSA member and the Hills. Now, these guys have been on stage. I've shared the stage with the Spears, with sang with Denny from the Blackwoods here not too long ago. In fact, they were over at the Jim Baker's, I believe, just this week, and singer-songwriters as well. And they are an amazing couple. You definitely want to tune in for next Wednesday. They will be joining us and just having a great time. Don't forget, guys, share this video, send it out. And if something you're looking into music, ministry, songwriting, take these words of a man who's gone through it, who his heart is totally sold out to God for it. Take his words. It's going to be hard. It may be tough. But you know what? The blessings, when people get it, man, it's so well worth it. Listen, This is Pastor Joe and
Stada.
And we are out of here for the day. God bless you guys. Have a great day. And go eat some fried clams.